Good morning, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Euros Daily Debrief. We've got another group finish. Group B last night. Spain beat Albania 1-0 thanks to a Ferran Torres goal, and Italy stole a point from Croatia in the last minute, with the last kick of the game, to go through on 4 points. Croatia's situation is very, very difficult now. They need England to win by 3 or more goals against Slovenia tonight to keep their hopes of going through alive. And I think that's very, very unlikely. I think everyone watching this video can understand that. We'll start with the Spain game just to sort of get it out of the way. Ferran Torres scored a 13th minute goal. Albania are out. Slovenia deserves a lot of credit for getting them this far, with Pablo Zabaleta as his assistant as well. A little bit of a Manchester City connection there. But it was too much. And I think if you looked on paper at the group, this was the toughest group on paper, with the champions Italy, Spain, and Croatia. So three major nations in terms of recent football success. Albania kind of came up short, although actually I thought they were very, very good in all three games. Made trouble for Italy on the opening day, scoring in the first minute, obviously. Then for me, they were the better team against Croatia. I wrote an article, as I mentioned, on Football 365 on that game. And then Spain last night, they made life difficult. But Spain go through the 100% record. They will play a third place team from a myriad of groups. I'm not quite sure which ones. That is not yet decided. Italy, though, will play Switzerland, and I think they might have some trouble because they were very, very unconvincing once again in their draw against Croatia. But this is the most Italy thing ever. They aren't always the best team to watch. They don't always have the most quality, but they are always pretty much there and thereabouts, usually when they're in a tournament. As we saw with them winning the Euros, no one really fancied them going into it, even though they're in great form now. They're not in great form, but they're creeping through. And Mattia Zaccagni's goal was very reminiscent of Alessandro Del Piero's winner against Germany in the 2006 World Cup semi-final. If you're familiar with that goal, really good breakaway, lovely finish from Del Piero, and the finish was almost identical, really, from Zaccagni in the 98th minute, which is just incredible, really, when you think about it. Luka Modric had scored for Croatia 30 seconds after missing a penalty, but it looks like it could be his final farewell on the international stage. I said in the last video I did on Croatia that Modric just doesn't look the same anymore, and you can naturally imagine that because he's 38 years old, but it's very difficult to accept when a player of his quality is no longer at their best. And it's a massive shame, and it felt like one of those seminal moments, as I say, where you were saying goodbye to a legend and a gladiator of the game. He didn't control the game again. I thought he was, passive again. I just think he's past it. It's one tournament too far, and that's just naturally what you'll get from this. Italy, though, are they a threat? I think Switzerland are a good side. I think they've shown that in the group, getting a point against Germany in the final game, and also beating Hungary quite convincingly in the first game. They were there for the taking against Scotland, but I think Italy, they're such a threat because they've got such tournament mentality. They've got such pedigree at this level that you can't rule them out, and they are the dark horses in that sense. I don't think they'll win it. You can't really rule them out because they keep coming up with the answer so many times, as they did 3 years ago at Wembley when England were the better team throughout that game, really. They didn't take the chances. Italy equalised, and then they won on penalties, and they keep themselves in games. And I think that's the crucial thing. That is the sort of thing that kind of wins these tournaments, rather than the best football, rather than the most attractive football, and the most effective football that goes the furthest. And I think that Italy could very well be a threat for Switzerland. And then the tournament opens up, and you're suddenly in the quarterfinals, and then it's in touching distance. And as I say, Italy are not a very good team on paper. They don't have too much quality in terms of teams gone by. That 2006 World Cup team is an amazing team. If you look at Totti and Del Piero in that side, Andrea Pirlo, Gattuso, there's so much quality running through that side, which isn't really the case this year, even compared to 3 years ago when Mancini took them all the way. Spalletti has got an average team on paper with a couple of good players and a couple of players who are outperforming themselves. And Zaccagni is an example of that. He's not really made much of a splash on the international stage. 29 years old, and he comes up with a moment like that. Absolutely incredible. Italy will face Switzerland tomorrow. England tonight, as I say, they need to win by 3 goals to give Croatia a hope of going through. I don't think that's likely to happen. Lots of talk about England and how they have to answer that disappointing result against Denmark. We'll see how that goes tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a review of that one. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support on the channel and all the support, particularly for the Euros Daily Debrief. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.